Hello and welcome to my tutorial for creating a little sunflower pendant out of Cosclay. For this piece I'm going to be using the Deco Blue over here, Deco Yellow, Deco Orange, and then I've mixed a green with the blue and yellow. And then I have the Butte Brown and the new Champagne Shimmer, which is an Amazon exclusive. You can find a link to this in the description below this video. I am also using a little bezel that I got off Amazon. It comes with a really nice set of bezels and chains, and I will also link that below in the description. So I really like the way that the blue looks with the gold border, so I'm going to do another gold one. So you want to condition your clay, which I've already done a little bit for this. Next, you want to find your bezel, think of the shape it's in, and try and shape your clay into that a little bit. I'm gonna shape this into a little bit of a teardrop. And then hold your bezel with one hand and push your clay down into it. Try not to push your clay over the edge of the bezel because you want that beautiful gold to shine through the edge. So what I'm doing is I'm just working that clay up into the tip of that teardrop. Just pushing it down so the clay goes to all the edges of the bezel. So there's the back and the front. I like to try and get it pretty smooth at this stage because I'm not going to do much more shaping for the blue. Now what you want to do is take a paper towel or a wet cloth and wipe the blue off your fingers because we're going to be shaping the green and the yellow. I'm going to set these other colors aside. So first what we're going to do is shape our little leaves. So just roll out a little bit, shape it into a ball, and then roll one side so it comes to a point. And then squish it flat. So that creates a teardrop in a way. Next, you want to take something like an X-Acto or just some kind of straight edge tool to make the center line of the flower petal, the leaf, sorry. And then just make little veins in it, making sure they're even on both sides. I like to give some of my leaves a little curl at the tip. So this one I'm gonna put, I think I'm gonna put it right here. One thing that's nice about the Cosclay is it's bendy after baking, so you can make 3D forms like this and not worry about them breaking. You can also have pieces hang off over the bezel without them breaking. So that's what I'm going to do for the leaf, is I'm going to attach it really well right here. But I want that leaf to hang off over the bezel a little bit. just because I think it's cool. I'm going to make a second leaf. Rolling it, making a little teardrop, flattening it. And again, I make that center line and the veins. This one I'm going to put down at an angle on this side. And it's okay to have your green just smudging into the blue down here because there's going to be a sunflower covering that. Alright, wipe the green off your fingers and your hands in case it's smudged any bit. Now what we want to do is roll some yellow out. And if you have any spots of dust on the clay, now's a good time to pick it off. It's really hard to keep dust off of light colors. So roll out a snake that's an even thickness all the way across, or close to it. Now I'm going to take an X-Acto, and I want to mark even marks down the line, pretty even. It's okay if they're not all exactly the same. These will be your cutting marks for your flower petals. This is just so you can try and get all of the flower petals close to the same size. Okay. I'm actually going to switch to my nice thin blade here. One. I don't really count how many of these I make. And I may or may not use all of them. But it's always a good idea just to cut all your petals out at once, that way they're the same size. And I'm not going to use this last one because it was smaller. Okay, so what you want to do is roll one of these little yellow pieces into a ball and make it into kind of a teardrop like we did with the leaf. And then you can take a ball tool or probably even a toothpick or just your hand, whatever you want to do. You can just smush it flat. I like using the ball tool because it gives more depth to the petal. Alright, so now we've got one little flower petal, but we want that pretty orange on the inside. So take the orange and roll it into a little teeny snake. And I don't measure with this part, I just cut off little points of orange like this. And I lay it down right in the bottom center of the petal. And then you could smush it with your finger or use a tool. I'm going to smush this down with this tool here. And then you see these petals have a little texture to them. So I take a straight edge tool and I just do lines in the clay and then smush the petal in any place that I may have gone off the edge so it's still round on the edge. And then first petal you can just whoop, just place it down anywhere and smudge the edge down into the clay really well. Actually, I'm gonna move that one because I want my flower to sit a little bit higher on this. So here's good. This one's gonna probably have a bigger brown inside. I guess that'd be the seed head of the flower. And I'm just gonna fix these lines because I smudged them. So roll the petal out, smush it flat. It's pretty warm in here today, so the clay is sticking to my fingers more than normal. So one thing that I do to combat the clay sticking is I have this little thing of cornstarch here. I just dip my fingers in it. Makes my fingers not so sticky. So we're gonna try this again. The only thing is when you use the cornstarch, then you can't get the clay to stick to your fingers when you want it to. Okay, next petal. I like to spread them out, that way they overlap differently. So I'll put one down here first. Because if you see on this one, they're all overlapping in different places. I don't start at one spot and then just keep overlapping around a circle, or else it might look a little funny. Now we can start to overlap the petals a little bit. Okay, that's enough petals. So now we're gonna take the Butte Brown, roll it into a ball, and then just set it right in the center. to create the seeds of the flower. And if you like, you can just leave it like that, or you can take the pretty champagne shimmer and roll a snake out of that. And just cut off little pieces that you can form tiny balls from. Take that and press it down. Try to leave a little bit of space around the champagne shimmer. And if you want, you can cut smaller pieces too, like this one has. And the last thing for your pendant, if you want them, is the little shimmery dots behind the flower. So I just cut a bunch of little pieces of the champagne shimmer in different sizes and rolled them into a ball. And then I just press them onto the blue in the background. Okay, at this point, you could bake it, or if you want to mess around with your petals a little bit to give them a little more flair, bending them down, bending them up, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and bake this for 45 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is the front of the pendant, and this is the back. And I'll be back when it's done baking. Alright, the pendant is done baking. So here it is. You can see, because we use Cosclay, it's very durable. These little pieces will bend instead of snapping if anything gets pushed against them or if it gets dropped or something. So now I'll just take one of the chains that matches the bezel, and you may need some pliers for this job because this ring's kind of small and it's not going to fit the jump ring through it. So what I'm going to do is open this jump ring and take it off for now. See, now there's no jump ring on it. And then I'm going to just put the chain through the hole and slide that jump ring back on. There we go. And then we'll take that jump ring and close it back up. One thing I always do when putting necklaces together is I make sure all of the jump rings are nice and tight. So this jump ring is not tight. Now it is. These other ones look to be pretty good. Tighten this one just a little bit. Okay. And there we have it, our beautiful sunflower pendant.